Fear stops us from achieving our true greatness. Are you a professional woman who is feeling stuck, unmotivated, or burned out? Are you worried about your wellness? Are you letting fear stop you from crushing your goals? If you answered yes to any or all of these, then this is the podcast for you. Dr. Charmaine Gregory, night shift emergency physician, burnout thriver, and wellness champion, along with everyday heroes just like you, will explore how to face fear in our lives and emerge victoriously.
Hello, Fearless family. So this is Dr. G, and I wanted to just say thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for making the show a great success. Thank you for sharing the show, subscribing to the show, as well as leaving great comments in the comment area. So I appreciate all of it. So I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I also wanted to do a quick plug for the podcasting launch course that I am running this month. You can take a look at the webinar that I did last week, and you can find this at podcastinglaunch.com. Check it out. It will give you great insight as to whether podcasting is right for you. It'll give you some great tips to get started, and it will also give you an invitation to jump on board and take the podcasting course. Now, the course itself is going to be a facilitated course. So that means that you're going to get assistance with all the steps along the way from me, and you will get some self-study type of content, and then there will be some coaching live content as well. The course will allow for you to have all of the things that typically go into this, all of the trial and error type things, basically alleviated, because I'm going to share with you all the things that I learned over the last year. And you'll also have 5 episodes completed by the end of the course and your plan for the next 5. You're going to have your marketing plan, your launch plan, everything all set up. You're going to get your logo, your show art, everything that you need to have an amazing show and to have amazing success, because I know that you have great content that you would like to share with your tribe, who, by the way, is waiting to hear your voice. So don't let fear stand in the way of you doing that, because you have the potential to be absolutely great. And you have the potential and the expertise to share your amazing content with those that know, like, and trust you. So definitely go to the webinar, take a look at it. And again, that's at podcastinglaunch.com. And if you feel like you want to take it to the next level, definitely take the course. I highly recommend it. Okay, I'm a little biased. So that is the news I want to share. So I want to plug for that. The other thing is, I am super excited about this week's episode because, as I alluded to on Instagram, we're doing something really cool and really fun this week. And so think comic books. Think comic books. Think comic style TV shows. Now, you ever seen in a particular TV show set that you might start on one hero show and the story then continues on the other hero show? So we're going to try to do that on this episode. Now, I have a really good friend of mine. Her name is Dr. Maiysha Clairborne, and she has a podcast as well. And we are going to try to do a crossover episode, which means the show is going to start off on Fearless Freedom, and then it is going to end tomorrow. The continuation of the story is going to be tomorrow on Dr. Clairborne's podcast, which is Next Level Physicians Thriving Outside the Box. So I'm telling you guys, this is going to be such a fun thing to do. And if you love it, please, please, please share it. Please subscribe to both podcasts. Please share both podcasts with a friend or friends. And let's do this. We also are looking for a lot of feedback on this, because if this works out really well and you guys like it, we might attempt to do this with a few other people and have a really cool game going. And so you guys can get a sampling of different podcasts and really get a view of, how our points of view can connect and how we can connect with each other. So definitely check it out.
Dr. G.
Hello, Dr. Claiborne. How are you?
I am doing well. And I'm just so grateful that you agreed, especially with such short notice, to come on and for us to have this conversation because we're in a like crazy time right now. You
We are.
know,
We are.
yeah, as a
Uncharted territory.
uncharted territory, as a country, as a medical profession. And, one of the things I was thinking would be so valuable in this conversation is, just really talking about the state of the fear and also how it's impacting our industry specifically. And then, like, just having perspective because you are like in the trenches, like ER doc, like frontline, and then I am not.
Yes.
I mean, I am a family doc, and I'm trained to be on the front line, right? And so,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, one of the things I've been dealing with, and I shared this in a live stream the other day, is the fact that as a trained family doc, um, I've been feeling some kind of way about not being able to be out there with you all and seeing all the fear and seeing all the mayhem and seeing that the lack of protection, but then still I'm like trained as a soldier, so it's like
Right.
I should
Yes.
be out there. that
Right.
that whole survivor's guilt thing, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I feel like it's very interesting because, I was just talking about this the other day too, and it kind of like really helped me to think about the underlying feelings surrounding this, right? Because part of you is like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Like I took an oath. I have made a decision that I am going to help people. Like that's what I'm going to do. And then you're in the situation and you know that there is some element of uncertainty. I mean, we know some things, right? We know a lot of things about the situation, but there's still uncertainty. We don't have all the answers, and to proceed without all the answers is just not comfortable for us.
Right.
We're so used to having the answers, seeing the problem, having the answers, being able to apply and come to this, to have the solution. And so being in a place where some of the answers are here, but we don't have all of them, and then still having to perform and be there and make it happen, it just evokes a different kind of emotion within you. So with us, in emergency, or if whatever you're doing, where you're seeing acute care patients, right? So you could be ICU, you could be anesthesia. You have, your mentality is, I know what to do. Patient's sick, I know what to do. I can make it better. And so you don't always pause to think, okay, I know what to do. I know how to make them better. Wait, let me don some PPE and make sure I don it properly and make sure I duff properly. You know what I mean? Like you don't always, the patient's crashing. Are you thinking about your PPE? Are you thinking about donning and duffing appropriately?
Right.
So it's like another layer, because that if you don't do these things and if you don't protect yourself, then you're not going to be able to help. You're not going to be able to serve. And you're not also going to be able to be of any use to those around you outside of the hospital, right? Because what you would hate to do is to be the one that happens to, bring the problem to your neighborhood or bring the problem to your family.
Right.
And so it is all these things. And, we are definitely doing our very best to ensure that we protect ourselves. We're having, I know that, for example, my hospital has gone to making sure that we change our clothing when we go there. So we have scrubs available now that we can put on. And so the scrubs stay there, right? So that's one potential way. And we're moving towards masking up for every patient instead of just the ones that have the respiratory symptoms that may put them at risk of having the COVID-19 virus. But then we're finding that, that's not necessarily everything. That's not necessarily the whole picture. And
Right.
so if you truly want to protect yourself, you should mask up for every patient,
Right.
right? So then now then there is, that whole thing of, yes, I'm protecting myself. Yes, I'm protecting my community. Yes, I'm protecting my family. But, you know, entering a room with somebody who's there for toe pain and I'm all masked up like they're infected, that can be a barrier to rapport. That can be a barrier to the relationship that has to be built very rapidly
Right.
in my line of work. And there's some things to reconcile there. There definitely
Yeah.
are. And the changing climate in that, every day we're learning something new, we're adapting
Mm-hmm.
something else, we are implementing something else, that evokes a different kind of stress in
Mm-hmm.
us, right? Because we're used to stress of having somebody come in and having very little data in
Right.
which to work with, and then having to make life and death decisions about that person based on a paucity of data. Like, we're used to that. That is what we do every single day.
Right.
That's why our job is a high risk job, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is just the bottom line. But we're not used to, having someone who comes with one complaint, and you enter that room or you enter that space with that patient having a certain expectation
Right.
in the sense of their effectiveness, or whatever you want to call that.
Mm-hmm.
And then realizing that that might not have been the best decision, right?
Mm.
So this is a different stress. It's a
Yeah.
very different stress than the making the decisions that are life and death on a paucity of data. So I think it's wearing on people. And I think that it is not only wearing on the decision makers, which are the doctors in general, but it's also wearing on the nursing staff.
Mm.
It's wearing on the clerk staff, right? Because
Mm.
the patients they don't get into EMR magically, right?
Right.
They have an electrical medical record. I'm sorry to use a term like that, but EMR means electronic medical record.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't magically get in there. Someone has to go and get that data, confirm the patient is who they say they are,
Right.
and then enter that data into the system.
Right.
They have to get their insurance information.
Mm-hmm.
What does that entail? A conversation with
Right.
the patient
Right.
face to face, right?
Mm-hmm.
In some scenarios, the patient may come up to a desk,
Mm-hmm.
for example, and that desk may not necessarily have PPE,
Yeah.
and it does, and they're not wearing PPE, and it doesn't have a glass, or it may not have a barrier.
Mm-hmm.
And, so there's that fear, right?
Wow.
So
Yeah.
there's a fear from the support staff, right? So
Mm-hmm.
your environmental service staff, right? They have to clean the rooms, clean the areas,
Mm.
and they have families and they have concerns. And are they going to mask up every single time? Can
Mm-hmm.
they get PPE to clean?
Mm.
Do you see? So there's
Wow. So many
definitely
layers.
so many layers, so
So
many
many
layers.
layers.
And it just really like complicates things.
Mm-hmm.
And in a system where we're all working together as a team to take care of the patients, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we often think of the doctors, the nurses, the APPs, but we don't think of the other staff that has to play a role in the care of the patient. So
Right.
we're talking about the environmental service personnel. We're talking
Right.
about the clerical staff. We're talking about the respiratory therapists, right? Because what
Mm-hmm.
are they going to be treatment? They're
Right.
going to be right in the mix, right? So they have to make sure that that the person that they're doing a nebulized breathing treatment on is not someone who has this problem or
Right.
potentially has a problem, because what would that do? That would basically just exacerbate the problem,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have to have another set of awareness built in to
Mm-hmm.
their everyday practice, and that
Yeah.
raises another level of fear and discomfort.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm
They
thinking like radiology tech
yeah,
and
absolutely. Go into
patient
rooms and do, oh
transport
yeah,
and oh my
transporters.
gosh, you when you start talking
Yeah.
about that, it's like, okay, that's like getting deeper and deeper, and there's so many layers, which it's so interesting. Like I can see why how the fear can be layered and layered and layered. That's interesting. Oh wow.
And you know, we try our best to talk about it. We try our best to um assuage people's concerns.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you that, you know, when the person who is the lead of the team has angst,
Mm-hmm.
that dissipates, right? That goes
Absolutely.
down to everybody on the team. So who is the person that
Mm-hmm.
leads the team? The doctor is the one that leads the team,
That's right.
right? So if the doctor is not like completely confident, is not completely like, you know, aware of her or his ways forward,
Mm-hmm.
then, you know, the team senses that,
Of
right?
course.
And so it's very complicated, very complicated.
Yeah. And then top that with the shortage of
Yes.
PPE,
Yes.
you
Hmm.
know? Um,
Yep.
and I've been seeing some um, emails come through, or like there's news that comes through that I think it was Taiwan who was donating their, was it Taiwan or the Philippines is donating their PPEs to
Oh, it's China. China sent a
China.
team. They sent a team to Italy. Yeah, China sent a team to Italy with
Yeah.
PPE and personnel.
Right. So I mean, it's on the one hand, it's very complicated. There's a lot of fear going on. On the other hand, I think that it's sparking some action, which whenever there's and I think this, and it's a shame it doesn't happen more often, but not this, but the coming together. Like it does spark like a coming together of the universe in some ways. But it's a shame that it takes a pandemic for that to happen, right? Um, you know, one of the things that I talked about in one of my live streams is the fact that that kind of the kind of fear and stress that we're experiencing as an industry and as a nation, what it does is it like disconnects us from our higher brain function. I mean, there's like a physiological effect, you know, and it also causes this sustained cortisol spike, and it like has an impact on the immune system. So one of the things that I think I was listening to, I might have been listening to another podcast because I've been podcast listening ever since you, thank you very much, showed me how to start my own podcast. But I was listening to this podcast and they were talking about how for whatever reason, for some reason, they're finding that the physicians who get sick, who actually are test positive from the coronavirus, are actually getting sicker faster.
Yes, I did see that recently.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that. Like, could that be because the level of stress that we're experiencing, as especially as frontline doctors, it actually has an impact on the immune system. The level of stress plus fear, right? Baseline fear. Even though you guys are like pushing forward, and that's because that's what you do as soldiers.
That's right.
And but yet it does have a physiological impact. And so, the question I always think about and I always ask is like, well, if that's the case, like, and I, of course, I'm looking at from where I stand, well, what can I do? How can I be of service? How can I, and especially with a background in like integrative medicine and hypnosis, and like what value can I bring that could help to reset, or reset the body, reset the mind, reset the spirit. Any insight on that as a person who's on the front lines? I mean, because I could sit here and say, oh, I'm gonna, like I'm actually gonna hold a meditation, but I don't
No, I
know.
think that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's something that I'm actually putting together for next Tuesday.
Hmm.
Global meditation for everyone. And but I don't know, like, does that really have an impact on you all when you have to go to work the next morning or that night even?
Well, I'll tell you that I think everything that works to enable to bolster your mindset, to bolster your resilience, is going to have an impact. So, okay, maybe just one meditation is not going to make all the
Yes.
difference, but
Mhm.
I think it's a step that is taken in action, that
Mhm.
is working on your your mindset. And I think that a lot of how we deal with things like this and how we deal with the stress related to this
Mm-hmm.
is really deep, is deep in our psyche, right? I mean, it's deep in our ability to cope is based on our mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, I think that learning a technique that is going to be something that maybe they can practice external to the activity that you're presenting,
Mm-hmm.
giving them a tool at the end maybe that might be helpful to them that they can utilize when they need it,
Mm-hmm.
will be huge, right? Because
Yeah.
we're not born knowing how to meditate. I don't know. Is meditating just doing you know what I'm saying? Like this is what most people think. Like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
meditating, I'm closing my eyes, I'm sitting in that
Mm-hmm.
crisscross applesauce position, and I'm going, I'm doing this and I'm going,
Mm-hmm.
that's not meditating, right? So
Right, right, right.
I think that having practical tools and is not a common practice, right? Most people don't meditate on a regular basis. They just don't.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously their impression of what that is warped, right? As you heard from me just, doing
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I think that's very valuable. I think that's very valuable. Absolutely.
And one of the things I was thinking, one of the things I was thinking, inside of that is recording it and having it be available, for download, for people to listen to
Absolutely.
over and over again. Because
Absolutely.
the thing about it is that, I could say go meditate, but come on now, y'all like when.
Exactly.
But if you
Exactly.
have
Exactly.
something that's like right there that has been done, that has been recorded, that has
Mm-hmm.
an actual visualization, so you don't have to think about what to do. So it takes your brain out of the way, right? So you just focus on the voice, focus on the actual
Yes.
practice itself, and even has some
Mm-hmm.
positive suggestions in there, right? Which like flow into the unconscious mind and empower you, right? Because my background is hypnosis, by the way, right? So
Yes.
there's
Yes. No,
always
I
going to
think
be
that's awesome.
positive,
Absolutely.
some positive suggestions in there.
Yeah.
Then maybe that having that short tool that they can listen to maybe in their car after work, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe like you can go back. It's something you can go back to as a practice, um,
Yes.
that you can actually immerse yourself in. Put your headphones and immerse yourself in, and go away. Like I like to call it what is it called? Not a debrief, but a decompressing strategy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important for you all out there who are going into the front lines and doing these 12-hour shifts and working these, some 24-hour shifts and things like that, to have some type of decompression ritual,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you know, because that's what because the bottom line is the fear is there. It's a
Yes, it
normal
is.
human emotion,
Yeah.
right? It's a normal human emotion. We're trained to go beyond that. But how do we decrease the impact, the physical impact, the long-term emotional impact, because there is a long-term emotional impact, and then the social impact of that fear. And for me, I think part of that is stealing those moments for decompression. Creating those little rituals before and after work, getting as much sleep as you can, which
Right. Right.
you gotta, and that the base, you like getting to the basics, but really like creating that decompression ritual maybe before and after work could be a thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that there's a lot of value to that. It's funny because, we're kind of like, well, I don't know about most people, but I know that I have rituals that I do, right? I have like,
Yes.
I have specific shoes that I wear. I
Mhm.
have like, I make my lunchbox a certain way before going
Mhm.
into my shift. Like, we have our rituals. So if we just integrate something that is going to bolster our mindset and help with our resilience, then sure, I think that'd be great. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and for those of you out there who are like, oh, mindset, such a soft skill, consider it a reset.
Yes, indeed.
A
Indeed.
reset.
Yeah.
Because I know that, some people out there are like, oh, they're talking about mindset again. They're talking about mindset. That's one of my favorite things to talk about, but I hear the conversations out there, but just
Yeah.
consider like a reset. You go, it's a stress reset. You go
Mm-hmm.
into work, you're stressed, you come out, do a reset,
Mm-hmm.
decompress, boom,
Yes. Yes.
decompression ritual. And that, if for those logical out there,
That's right.
that may be a different way to frame that. I also want to talk a little bit about, the fear is like, there's the fear inside of the industry,
Mm-hmm.
there's the fear outside of the industry,
Mm-hmm.
fear of the financial impact.
Oh my, yes.
There's a
Mm-hmm.
whole conversation around that, right?
Yeah, that's going to be and already has been absolutely tremendous. I mean, tremendous. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting because right now there's like a lot of volatility happening with the market,
Oh yeah.
and with there being again such uncertainty, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel a theme coming on.
I know.
Right. Uncertainty being that theme.
We're just not sure. We're
We're just
just
not sure.
not
We don't
sure.
know. Yeah, and then especially in our industry, we're used to like, I know.
I know. What is the answer? Come on.
Right. I gotta see the outcome. And then I'm an INFJ. So INFJs need closure. J's need closure.
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
Right. So but yeah, so like this, I was, another podcast I was listening to about just the market and how it's volatile
Mm-hmm.
and it's changing and nobody knows, if this is a temporary thing, if it's a permanent thing, and or
Mm-hmm.
not permanent, but a semi-permanent thing, right? And
Right,
there's so
right.
much fear around that. And then the fear causes this crazy behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
This crazy um, toilet paper hoarding.
Yes. I mean, what are you gonna do with that? I still don't understand it. I've seen these memes of people who are like wrapped in toilet paper as their PPE, and I'm like, are you kidding?
That
It's
does
not gonna
not
help
work,
you.
y'all.
It's not gonna help.
You're
You'll have a
wasting
clean, I guess you'll
paper.
have a clean butt. I don't know.
Right.
But
But yeah, like, just like the crazy behavior that's coming out of the fear of this market, the clearing off of all the shelves, like,
oh yes.
what are you gonna, it's like, look, we need to, again, it disconnects you from your higher brain function. So a lot of the behavior out there is like completely illogical, right? Based on the fear of, oh, some people watch one too many movies, which, to give it to credit, it is predictive programming. But when my sister, and I don't think she's gonna listen to this, she was like, you would think that you're about to see, and she's in LA, by the way. She was like, you would think that you're about to see zombies beginning to walk around.
Oh yeah,
Like,
the zombie apocalypse. Yeah.
yeah, it's like this apocalyptic behavior, and
Yes.
and not to diminish the importance of preparation.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it's like, what's the space that you're coming from in this preparation? What's the space, especially when it comes to financial preparation? And I really want to point this a little bit at small business owners and entrepreneurs, because there's a tremendous opportunity here for us to see things
Preach.
differently, right?
It's
Right.
just
So I
yes.
mean,
Yes.
as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, right now, you are in the land of opportunity and you don't even know it, right? As a person who even has an idea about starting a business, do you know the Small Business Association is pumping out loans with like damn near zero interest
Oh
to try to
yes.
stimulate the market? Nobody's
Mhm.
biting, right?
It's incredible what is happening now. It's
Oh my God,
incredible.
it is. And I believe that things like this, especially in the realm of entrepreneurship, it forces us to evolve.
Yes.
So like conferences that were live are now going virtual.
Mhm.
And it's very interesting because I have this mind remapping coach training program, and it's right now it's virtual, which is really a never been done before in the world of NLP hypnosis training.
Nice.
But one of the things that I was thinking about doing, because a lot of people are asking about the intensive, and typically
Right.
an intensive is live. And I was like,
Right.
you know what? I'm going to do a virtual intensive. And then this hits.
Right.
And it's like, oh, I'm definitely going to do a virtual intensive.
That's right.
Right.
Yes.
So in this realm of business and entrepreneurship, the virtual space is the space to thrive. And if you're a small business owner, it's not the time to shrink back.
No, no, no. You push forward now.
It's
Yes.
the exact time to push forward, right? Um, and know that there will be flow. The more we continue to put into the market, the more we will continue to keep the market thriving. And I think that's what people have to understand. Yes, be mindful of your spending, but do not withdraw it from the market. And don't be so afraid in your business that, about clients coming, that you go to your default safety and then leave your business to die. That's the exact opposite of what you should be doing now.
Oh my gosh, that's so, oh, yes, that is so true. I mean, it is like, it's amazing to me because I'm in a couple of masterminds right now
Mm-hmm.
and with other like entrepreneurs. And it's just amazing because there are those that are like, they see it, like they're like not wearing the rose colored glasses. They like totally see the future, but they see it like, yes, times are looking rough right now, but now is a time to like double down, triple down, because this is not going to be something that's going to last forever, like
Right.
we described before. And so you don't want to be in a situation where you're not prepared, right? So because the efforts that you put in now, really, you don't reap them for like what, 60 days, 90
Yep.
days
90 days.
from now. If you take your foot off the gas, if you stop putting right, if you stop putting things in and putting things out there, then what's going to happen is when everything has passed, you're going to be stuck. You're going to have to play catch up. Whereas the colleagues of yours that who kept going even through the rough bits, they're going to be sitting pretty because now they're getting all the leads from the tough time. And plus, they're working on the next 60 days, the next 90 days.
Yes.
And, it's crazy. So, it's really funny to me because, it wasn't until I started looking into entrepreneurship and actually doing this that I understood this mindset because, I was around when 9/11 happened.
Yes.
It was a horrible time, horrible time.